coalition becomes a space to bring everybody together to create kind of a comprehensive vision for the anchor institution and how the community will benefit, and that vision can cut across all those different areas. And then it's also, I think, a coalition's necessary because anchor institutions are hard to move, and it's hard to influence decisions. So a coalition, when people get together, organizations get together in coalition, they have much greater power. They don't get pitted against each other in the same way.
Everybody who has a stake or who's already working in some level as a part of that campaign should be involved in a coalition, because there's a lot of expertise and a lot of background that people can provide in a group that would be useful to move forward and make a strong coalition. And in this case, for the Berkeley Global Campus, being as a lot of the areas is education, jobs, housing, and small businesses, unions need to be involved, community groups need to be involved, education advocates need to be involved, some attorneys actually need to be involved because we're talking about legally binding agreements, researchers need to be involved, and that's what's been making this such a strong campaign, is because we've had so many people with so many different expertise coming into the fold.
We took an opportunity to see build the best team that would address the 5 areas that of concern, and not only that, but the people who have a little bit of power behind them and people that can push for outcomes. And so I think that was the main objective, is to making sure that we had the team behind us that would be able to address each individual area of concern.
For me, the thinking was that all of these organizations had their own interest in the Berkeley Global Campus, because they were going to be impacted or they were going to get out of that. And then through the discussion is, okay, we need to support each other, because you are not going to be fighting for yourself in this piece if you don't support the other. So it was just kind of like how you create a common interest that align the particular interests of each organization. Well, I think like build the momentum, it needs to happen something that small wins that we can kind of like show, like we can hold and say like we did it. So for Berkeley Global Campus, the first thing was that we were able to make the UC Berkeley to commit to have a participatory process, to discuss about our demands and to talk about community benefits agreement. Even though they didn't promise at that time that they were going to sign a legal binding agreement, they say like, well, we can start discussing how that could happen. And then advocating for many people within the coalition to be part of the working group.
I think what has made this process really good is that like we're focusing on education, jobs, placement and training, and fair hiring, housing, right? And as the coalition's 3 like primary demands, and each organization around that table, like ACE, you know, they have really been doing a lot of work around housing since forever, and enrichment. So they are considered to be the experts in the coalition when it comes to that, and like leaning to them to talk about like, well, what should the recommendation be? Where are your leaders on this is good.
You need to start like continue engaging more and more people and fill the room with the people who are most impacted by this issue, because also like numbers, like power is on the numbers as well. And you need to have a strong organization who really are not going to sell or kind of like no fight hard for what they want.
It's kind of like a forced trust because you don't really have I mean, you can't really fight amongst each other because then you won't meet like the goal, right, of the coalition, which is really to give benefits to the community from this anchor institution.